Hey everyone, this podcast is part of Story Mode, the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed. You can support us and gain access to other great exclusive podcasts at patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed, which is spelled like it sounds.
Doot doot. Opening a can of water.
Oh, I just filled up a bottle.
Oh, all right, Mr. Fancy bottle.
No, and I've got a can of Diet Pepsi too, so I could record for
Jesus.
At least 30 minutes.
At least.
I'm good to go.
At least.
Mm-hmm.
God damn. Hi, everybody.
Hello, everyone.
My name is David Bell.
My name is Tom Ryman.
And we just watched John Carpenter's Lockout.
John Bisson's Lockout.
It's the world's most secure prison. It holds the planet's deadliest criminals. It's impenetrable because it's not on Earth.
Okay, so what is it, Thursday? Feels like Thursday.
Mm-hmm. It is a Thursday.
That means this is from one of our Patreon producers. Thank you to Joshua Graves for giving us a list to choose from.
Mm-hmm.
This is what we picked. Could have picked something that like a scumbag didn't make. I'm saying that to myself because I picked it. Or I was the one who was like, I haven't seen Lockout.
Yeah, what does he have, a story by credit, and he's a producer?
He has, I wrote it down, based on an original idea by Luc Besson. That's what he's credited on. That is the funniest fucking thing I've ever heard.
That's so funny that I kind of had this like stigma against this movie in my mind for years because of its association with Luc Besson, but the fact that is the extent of his association is incredible.
Well, it's also he gets a story by credit. Yeah, that's it. That's pretty much it. But it's very funny to me because the original idea is
it's Escape from New York. What if we did Escape from New York in space?
Yeah, to the point that this movie has 5 writing credits. 2 of them are the writers for Escape from New York and Escape from LA. Yes. Because John Carpenter sued, or his company sued. I don't know who.
Yeah, it was a French court found them guilty of plagiarizing from Carpenter and his friends.
Because they did.
Because they did. It's Escape from New York.
It's wild because they probably didn't mean to.
No, I think, and we'll talk about this. Go ahead.
No, because you wouldn't. It's like plagiarizing Jurassic Park. Like, you wouldn't do that because everybody would be like, that's Escape from New York in LA. Mm-hmm. They clearly just like hadn't watched those movies for a while or something. Or Luc Besson is just like such a fucking narcissist that he's just like...
Or maybe, well, I mean, there were a lot of people, like it's 2 directors, I don't know. I feel like they either just didn't realize how many of their story beats were the same, or it was a hubris thing. But also, like, part of the point of this movie is deconstructing 80s action heroes.
Is that what this is about?
A little bit. We'll talk about it.
Okay, because you dropped something in the text exchange, which was, I've seen this a lot of times. Mm-hmm. That surprised me. Maybe have seen this once before.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And it is so packed with things that were in other movies.
Yes.
Just cliches.
Yeah.
But it didn't seem like a parody. It just seemed like they took it all.
That's mostly, it's like a very, very fine line, and obviously they went over it because they got sued for plagiarism. So they weren't protected by like parody laws, but like it's not that obvious, and it only occurred to me after having seen it more than once. Like, I've seen this movie maybe 5 or 6 times.
Right.
It's Guy Pearce's character specifically is an 80s action hero, and he says and does things that other people are constantly commenting on. Like, they're like, nobody does that anymore. And he is just that guy.
He is every line he says is, I have to be the funny guy, the funny tough guy. Mm-hmm. I just didn't think it was done as a parody because nothing in the movie indicates that.
No,
it's just a straight up movie.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it a parody. I think I used the word deconstruction.
Something behind me just crashed.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm not gonna look. I'm not gonna cut this
crash?
out.
Like what kind of like glass
I don't
breaking?
know. I heard a
Stone Cold?
yelp and a bunch of things. Not like Stone Cold. A bunch of things clatter. I'm not turning around. I'm not checking.
Okay.
All right, go on.
I think it's more that the idea behind Guy Pearce's character is to be a deconstruction of 80s action heroes. I don't think it was their intention to make a parody. Because everybody else is taking this very seriously.
Yeah, they sure are. Do we need to talk about the plot of this? This is about the worst prison idea ever.
It's a space prison.
That can be taken over in a matter of minutes.
Can be taken over by one guy.
One guy with a gun in a matter of minutes. That if no one is in charge of, is designed to crash into the earth like a meteor. And so it is the worst design.
I've got one note just immediately.
What?
On this? The design of this prison. Maybe it shouldn't crash into Earth.
Here, okay.
That shouldn't be a thing it can do.
Note number one doesn't need to be in space.
No, it could be in the sea.
Yeah, if you're building a space station, that's a lot of money to be putting.
A lot of money and resources, man.
Yeah. So that's the first problem.
And it's clear, like, from the condition of the prison itself and the prisoners and the fact that, like, Maggie Grace, who plays the president's daughter, goes there specifically to investigate. Like, there's claims that, like, being in stasis for a long time, they put all their prisoners in stasis, like in Demolition Man, causes dementia, and we see that it does. So we see that clearly not any advancements really at all have been made in terms of prison reform.
No, not at all.
So it's like,
and prison security.
Yeah. So we're still just throwing, billions of dollars away on more sophisticated ways to keep the same shitty broken system going. So that's good.
Yeah. They do this thing where the president's daughter is visiting to talk to a prisoner to make sure, like, this company is treating the prisoners well, yada, yada. And she gets in the elevator with one of the guys and he says to her, he's like, look, we're putting on a show. All right. You'll talk to a couple prisoners. You'll get some scary stories to tell to your friends. So you'll sign off on this place. So they just, from what I can tell, they just randomly pick a prisoner, and he's the worst guy.
Right? Like if that was the case, if they were like, if they were
the nicest prisoner,
right? If they were really trotting out like their money beats, like, why would you bring the craziest dude there?
Yeah. They bring out this crazy motherfucker. They put him in a situation where all it takes is one gun to completely... Like, you'd think they'd be really careful, extra careful.
Right. It's like
the president's daughter.
He's like cartoonishly deranged, too. He's like the Yosemite Sam of prisoners.
Yes. And then it felt like a cliche, although I couldn't remember a movie this had necessarily been from, that the villain's unhinged brother. That feels like I've seen it a lot.
Maybe there's a little, you get a little bit of that in Die Hard.
Yeah, there's always the loose cannon henchman.
I don't.
It feels like,
it's not,
or the one who's like kind of vying for control. I don't know.
Right.
It felt very cliched, but there wasn't. And their fate is very uncliche. I will give it that.
Yeah,
I thought it was going to be like hero kills the brother, and then he has to fight the boss. It's not that at all.
No. I don't think the brother thing specifically is a trope, but definitely that relationship where there's like one of the bad guys is like rational and calm and like almost likable, and then he's got another like just deranged loose cannon. Yeah. And it's like kind of, I feel like there's a lot of "you killed my brother" cliches, which this doesn't do, but I thought it was setting up. Instead, it just doesn't have a fight with the bad guy. No.
One of the brothers stabs the other, and then our hero just like punches the guy and leaves. And it was like, like
it does kind of air. And again, it's, it got busted for ripping off Escape from New York, and that movie and like Die Hard, it's less about him. He's like trying to avoid fighting in those movies.
I would say the problem with this movie is that So it automatically makes you think of better movies.
Mm-hmm.
And then it like really doesn't hold up to those movies where it's like, it's not even that bloody. Like this isn't that gory of a movie.
No, they didn't have much of a budget at all.
No. And so it's like, why are you even making this? It's just like they must have really forgot that Escape from New York existed because that's the only reason. Is if you're like, man, what a great idea.
Well, for a while...
That's the only reason to make this.
Yeah, for a while, as I mentioned, I've seen this movie a couple of times, and we haven't even really made this statement yet of whether or not we actually liked the movie. I enjoyed this movie a lot for a while, and I just never made the connection to Escape from New York, and then its charm has... greatly diminished for me since I think you told me about it first, since learning about that and then making that connection in my mind. I was like, oh shit, this is just Escape from New York.
Yeah, for me it was, this movie was extremely underwhelming because it's just, there's nothing unique to it.
Not
when
really.
You take that away, when you realize it's just Escape from New York, it's not only that, it's that minus the charisma, minus like the violence, minus the cleverness.
There's not really that. In fairness, there's not that much blood or gore in Escape from New York either.
No. Also, minus the simplicity. They have to do this. They put too many fucking, like we're talking about this prison, right? And the escape that has to happen. The fact that they have to take over, that has to be dumb, and it is. It happens because a Secret Service agent brings his firearm in.
Yeah.
Gets fucking pickpocketed, and then this single guy with a firearm somehow takes over the entire prison and gets into the control room in like a minute. And you compare that with Escape from New York, where they're just like, her plane or the president's plane crashes. Bam. Done.
Yeah, there's a whole other plot about like a dude selling government secrets, and they have to track down the suitcase, and Guy Pearce has been like wrongfully accused of murdering this dude, so he's being forced to rescue the president's daughter and try to clear his name at the same time. Right. It's way too busy in that way.
They do this whole, they could just, why not make him a prisoner already there? Like that, just make him a prisoner already there. He actually causes this whole movie to happen. Did you notice that? Because he
does. He does. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what happens is they send a negotiator, which was also weird, onto the station to negotiate, to be like, give us a hostage. And they know the president's daughter is on there. They know the bad guys don't know she's the president's daughter.
Yes.
They also know she's been injured. So they have the hostage negotiator be like, give us one civilian, I don't know, an injured woman or something like that.
Yeah, it's
knowing that it's the president's daughter.
Yeah.
So they go to bring her to the negotiator. Meanwhile, our Guy Pearce is sneaking onto the ship via the same ship that the hostage negotiator came on. And so then the brother is like, no, anybody but her, don't send her. Because he's all creepy for her. So he shoots another woman and is like, there, she's injured. But he kills her. She dies. Mm-hmm. And then they spot Guy Pearce coming on. And they're like, hey, boss, someone's trying to get on. So if he wasn't spotted, this like expert, our main character who gets spotted immediately, like in the first 30 seconds that he's here. Mm-hmm. If he wasn't spotted, they would have probably put the president's daughter with the negotiator. Yeah, and he would have left.
That's what was about to happen. But if you remember, Saul from Snatch tells Guy Pearce to go. Yes. After the deranged brother shoots the other lady.
Technically Saul's fault, but it's still like.
Well, and then we learn later that he's bad.
Right, but still, Guy Pearce, do a better job.
Yeah, be sneakier. But also, it's hard to be sneaky when you're in a fucking space suit.
Yeah, there's something very funny about that.
Not a lot of trees to hide behind.
Yeah, he's
space.
just a turd floating towards the...
you can't do anything.
It's just funny how that's what does it, because it's like, oh, so the hero, it's the hero's fault. If they didn't send him, it all would have been fine. They could have sent the negotiator first, tried that. I don't know.
Yeah. I get it. I think it's minor.
It's not his fault. It just, in my mind, it associates the hero with failure.
Yeah.
where it's just like, oh, so he's the problem. Yeah, so just start him on the ship as a prisoner.
That might have been interesting, yeah.
Yeah, and like be like those. So what did this guy do? Like he's like really an extra prisoner. He's an extra prisoner.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, he fucked with the government, you know. And I mean, but here's the problem: is if you do that, you're just making more Escape from New York. That's a real issue. Is like,
yeah, or you're like making Con Air.
Con Air, yeah. It's derivative of a lot of things.
It's a derivative movie.
To fix this movie, I want it to be just other movies that exist.
Yeah, I still like this idea, and I think that's something you could do, where you make a movie that's just a straightforward action movie, but you cast the hero as explicitly an 80s action guy, and everybody's aware of it but him.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a bad idea for a movie.
That's not a bad idea. But other people turn into those cliches.
Yes.
When he teams up with the president's daughter, she somehow like becomes more uptight. Like,
yeah, their relationship is strange.
It's very forced. There's so much banter. The ending shot of them walking off and the banter won't stop.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, oh God, please just fade out movie. Because they just have so much like, oh, we don't like each other, but we actually like each other.
Mm-hmm.
The part where she's like, you can't smoke in here. It's like, why would she even say that right now to him?
It's
because he lights up a cigarette on the prison.
Yeah, it's part of. He gets a lot of characters yell at him where they're like, nobody smokes anymore. It's part of that idea, I think. It's not executed well.
No, it's not. Not for her in that moment, because she seems more laid back and then she gets like really uptight.
Yeah, her character's always been like, watch the handful of times that I've watched this movie, her character's always been kind of like a spot, and it's legitimately hard to tell if it's the actress or the character itself, because
I would say it's the character.
Neither is doing a great job.
Yeah, but stuff like it's cringeworthy. Yeah. Like he goes to dye her hair so she doesn't get attacked by the prisoners, and she's like, "Ew, what are you doing?" Like she's like she like doesn't want him to do it. It's stuff like that where she's just like, "Oh, that's gross," and it's like it's beyond the logic of a human being.
Yeah.
And that's what really bugs me, is when she's like really stuck up, and like she's the president's daughter. So sure, if you established that better, but they didn't.
No, they're trying to do both. Like they do a lot to establish like that she's independent. She's not really pampered. She cares about things. Like she has beliefs that are good, you know, and important and valuable. But they also want to have her be kind of like a fussy princess sometimes, but only like sometimes. It's very
only
strange.
Sometimes. And so you could go one or the other. For example, that conversation the guy says, "Look, this is all for show." Have her say it to him.
Mm-hmm.
Have her be the stuck up who's like, "Look, I don't want to be here. This is for PR." Then you got your stuck up.
Wanted, yeah.
Yeah. Or you make her. It's shit like that where it felt like they're like, she's got to be tough, but also she's got to be this, and she's got to be this, and like they just wanted her to be whatever they needed her to be in the scene.
Yep, that
to the point that she teleports in this movie.
Oh, I'm sure it's never really clear how big the prison is.
No, I just mean when she gets on the escape pod. There's no way she got off that fucking escape pod.
Way. Yeah, that's impossible for her to get off that thing.
It like they show it like close in on her.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's just behind him, and I was like, like I knew of course she was going to do that, because there wouldn't be any more movie. But it was like, where the fuck did she come from?
I don't know, man. You fucking phase through solid matter.
Yeah.
She's an X-Man.
She's an X-Man. Yeah, man.
Yeah, I'll say
what?
My enjoyment of this film all came from Guy Pearce.
Guy Pearce is all right. He is doing a good job at what he's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they're self-aware. If they were more self-aware, I feel like other characters wouldn't be saying stupid shit too.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't think the whole movie was meant to be self-aware. I think they got a good idea, had a weird follow-through, so now it's like this jumbled mix of tones and realities. It was.
He says so many lines.
He is constantly speaking. Yeah.
It felt like they wanted him to just like it felt like there was a producer note or something that was just like, you got to have him funny. He's got to be funny. Like it's hard to imagine that they didn't know they were copying John Carpenter or Die Hard. Because he's saying stuff. They'll tell him to do something. You go, I'll put it on the to-do list, and it's like that's not even really a joke. I mean, I guess it is.
Yeah.
It's so many fucking lines.
Yeah. He speaks constantly.
He never stops.
Yeah.
It feels like it would almost be funny if he ended up being not helpful and like died like halfway through.
He just has like the facade of one of these heroes, and then he just dies immediately like an idiot. I mean, that's a joke we've seen a lot too, but
it'd have to be like he just become like she would have to take care of him or something.
Mm-hmm.
It's just my big note is just like it's not good enough. I get where you could get enjoyment from it.
Mm-hmm.
From that starting premise that he's like,
it just came just from a plain just level of charm for me the first time I saw it, much in the same way that like Escape from New York comes across, because it's like, it's like this quaint little movie that doesn't have much money, but it's got some big ideas, and it's got a charming lead actor, and I think a lot of my enjoyment of this movie is really colored by the fact that I didn't realize it was just a ripoff of Escape from New York.
Right. The most original thing I think it does is actually done because there's too much plot, which is the brother thing. Because there's the whole again, we were talking about it. This begins with he's like in this action sequence. Also, the action is not filmed well. It's like too cool.
Not particularly.
Yeah, they have him on the motorcycle at the beginning, and like the camera's like locked on the motorcycle, and it's trying to be really cool, but it doesn't feel good action wise. And so it's about he gives this guy a suitcase on a train station, gets arrested, has to find the guy in the prison, and then of course the guy exists only long enough to give them a clue to where it is, to say locker.
Yeah, he's got to do the don't say a word thing. He just repeats the combination, and it sounds like gibberish, but it's not.
And it's all this. Okay, do you think the way it was written is they kept adding stuff because they probably were like, well, like he has dementia because the prisoners or the guards gave him it through the experiments or whatever. And that's the only reason that's really in this movie. Like, she doesn't take the prison down for being evil.
The prison goes down.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? Is like the corporation. It's presumed that she does. But it's added, there's like several plots. There's prisoner escape, rescue. There's what's in the suitcase that he's being framed for a murder.
Yeah.
Where is this special chip? And then there's she's here to inspect the prison, who might be treating prisoners badly. And that one doesn't really get resolved. The prison just explodes.
Yeah, it super does. I don't know. It feels like maybe all of these, a lot of these different plots were added to create more character moments, to get around the fact that they don't have a very big budget.
Right.
So they could keep cutting back to X and Y characters having a conversation in this one location that we've established. So that's like the two brothers, and that's like the people like Peter Stormare and Saul from Snatch back on.
Peter Stormare.
Hell yeah, Peter Stormare.
Torturing Guy Pearce.
Yep.
I guess what I was getting to is the brothers, so you think it's going to be like final boss battle. And instead, one of the brothers just kills the other. And then Guy Pearce punches at he's going to attack the president's daughter, and Guy Pearce shows up and punches him out and leaves. And it's like really anticlimactic, and it's because they have to conclude all the fucking suitcase shit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, Jesus, too much plot. But it was my favorite part, which was just like, yeah, the criminals self-destruct.
Yeah, it's a good idea. It's a good instinct.
It is a good idea.
Yeah.
And they should, like, I would have made it more like about the criminals self-destruct and then they have to get off of the ship, and that takes up the rest of the movie.
Right, like
it
would have almost been better if they never even interacted with him after that.
Right. You really don't need the suitcase subplot.
No.
It really didn't need to be in this.
Nope.
It causes some of the dumbest parts. Where, like, the president's daughter keeps just, like, giving the slip to the Secret Service.
Yeah, you guys are terrible.
The Secret Service in this are god-awful.
Yeah, again, it's the Con Air thing where a lot of it happens because one of these dumb fucks brings his gun into a prison.
Right.
What are you doing?
Yeah, it's happened because people are dumb. Also, they invoke the 25th Amendment against the president.
Yes, they do.
I mean, what a quaint world where they can do that quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And then they give authority to, like, the head of the Secret Service.
They give authority to Peter Stormare.
Peter Stormare, who's the head of the Secret Service. And it's like, I don't know if that's how they would do that, but sure.
What if that's written into the 25th Amendment? It's like you invoke
like
the 25th...
Peter Stormare?
Specifically Peter Stormare, yes.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
You grant presidential powers to Peter Stormare.
Yeah. Fucking Secret Service are both extremely powerful and really ineffective.
Yeah, they're a bunch of dumb shits.
She gives him the slip in the hospital. Mm-hmm. At the end, she gives him the slip. And then at the very end, she's just hanging outside the NYPD. She's like, hey, what's up? Like, the Secret Service really has to be better at this.
Mm-hmm. They need to purge that entire roster and just hire all new people.
Seriously. Peter Stormare needs to awful. Yeah. And then Peter Stormare's the guy who, like, arrests the guy with the suitcase. What was that? So what was that?
That was a red herring. Like, we were supposed to believe that Peter Stormare was the secret mole the whole time because he's kind of railroading Guy Pearce the whole movie. He's really gung-ho about keeping him in prison.
Yeah. What I mean is okay, so what was the suitcase?
The suitcase was, like, whatever intel that the dude who gets killed in the beginning was
Guy Pearce was
trading.
Was he a cop?
He's what the hell is he? He's like special forces or something. He's a CIA operative. He's
a CIA, and he's working with the Secret Service at the end because Peter Stormare is Secret Service, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then, I love the line where someone's like, "No one told us about this," and they're like, "Yeah, that's what they call a secret."
Mm-hmm.
It's like, Christ movie.
Yeah, spread that shit on a cracker.
Yeah,
it's so good.
There's a part where they go to kill one of the guys and they do it on camera and the guy goes, reality TV, and walks away and is like, all right, like, God damn, just stop. People can, like, not talk, you know?
Yeah, not everybody needs to have a pithy remark.
Yeah, because they're just saying stuff.
Because it's really best if, like, only one character is doing that. Because if every character does that, it is exhausting.
Yeah. So Guy Pearce is trying to weed out a mole, and then they think it's him because Peter Stormare thinks he sees him shoot his partner.
Yes.
Why is Peter Stormare, the Secret Service agent, involved?
I don't know. I guess
intel have to do with the president?
It's like, what is it about? It's like about the space program or some shit. I think it was like a joint operation, right?
Okay.
Between the CIA and the Secret Service, because they knew it was like a high-ranking person within the government or within the State Department doing espionage. So
it's exhausting.
But yeah, Peter Stormare gets tricked by a mirror.
Yeah, he does.
is the ultimate reveal is that he was looking at Guy Pearce's reflection in a mirror on the back of a door, so it looked like he killed the guy, but actually he was shooting someone else.
Right. And I guess the bad guy really had this one in the holster because there's that scene where the president's daughter gets kidnapped and they walk in on the president and Stormare is like, we just got word the president's daughter's been kidnapped. We're going to send a team. And the other guy is like, but what if we do this instead? I believe it's Saul who does that. Mm-hmm. He immediately suggests it.
Yeah.
having just learned that this is happening,
Mm-hmm.
why would he do that to Guy Pearce if he knows that it would be bad for him? Because isn't it better to have Guy Pearce just in jail?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, because it seems like that's bad for him to send Guy Pearce. And he comes out with the idea like really quickly in the scene. Like it's the first thing he says in the scene after hearing about. So I just assumed it was like a plan.
Maybe he was hoping Guy Pearce would get killed,
I guess.
so he wouldn't have to worry about that particular loose end anymore.
He's worried because the suitcase is still up in the air.
It's still in play, yeah. And Guy Pearce's partner is the only person who knows where it is.
Who they scrambled his brain.
Yes.
They probably shouldn't have done that to him.
Yeah, probably not.
To find out where the suitcase is.
I mean, I think
guess
he
didn't want to know where the suitcase is because he thought it would incriminate him. But then it's actually in the lighter.
Yes.
No.
Part of it is.
Part of it. Because
the guy,
they already...
Yeah, he put like a microchip in the lighter before he died and gave it to...
But
to Guy
the
Pearce.
microchip doesn't matter for the plot.
Yeah, no, I don't. I see. I've even lost track of what it is.
He catches Saul. He catches Saul by being like, "We found the suitcase," and putting it down, and then Saul opens it, and he's like, "Well, how did you know the combination?"
Yep.
But did they not have anything else on him in that moment?
No,
because so that's interesting because that means Guy Pearce in that moment is still like a prisoner.
I guess.
Right?
I don't know.
And it's weird because he's like, bring it in, guard, and stuff like that. But like, if he's still a prisoner, he's like presenting the suitcase to Saul like he's not a prisoner.
They're debriefing him.
Yeah, okay. And then Peter Stormare is in the room. So he clearly talked to Peter Stormare, but how did he figure it out?
I don't know.
Oh, no, I think I know. Because the president's daughter went into the room and saw the mirror. And probably went to Peter Stormare. The president's daughter...
she also gets the briefcase, doesn't she?
Yeah, she broke out of the hospital. She goes and gets the briefcase. Then she goes to the hotel room. While still at large, the Secret Service looking for her. She finds the mirror. Apparently Peter Stormare never went in that room.
Apparently not. Apparently nobody investigated the room. Yeah.
Yeah, and saw that there was a mirror. So she was the first person to go in that room, see that there's a mirror, and then she went to Peter Stormare and was like, it was a mirror. And then I assume he went to that room to make sure.
Here's the briefcase.
Yeah, he got back on the roof and like looked it up, like lined it up, and was like, oh, and then he went to Guy Pearce and was like, it was a reflection. So that still the person's still at large, and Guy Pearce was like, so here's what we do. I think it's Saul for some reason. We present him with the briefcase. If he can open it, it's him. And based on that, they put him to jail, and he burns him to make him a snitch. and then at the end, he finds the lighter with the chip, and he's like, "Oh, that son of a bitch!" And like
it's the
walks
same
off.
lighter he's had the whole movie. Yeah.
Yeah, but that chip has not been in play. Not really.
It's what we thought was inside the briefcase. It was a misdirect. Like that's the actual information. There was nothing in the briefcase. That's all.
Right.
I don't know.
No, I assume that. It's just funny that they were able to implicate the other guy without anything in the briefcase.
It's a classic.
Which was empty.
Right.
Again, it's too many layers where they're like, it was with him the whole time. And it's like, stop trying to add twists.
Well, and it's also a classic, we didn't figure out a way to write this, so we'll just have the villain admit to it. Like, right, yeah, because we've talked about this a lot where like somebody will present this piece of information that could be incriminating, but all the bad guy needs to do is deny it.
Yeah.
But so often they'll just be like, well, I was just going to walk out, but now that you pushed me, and they pull out a gun or something. Like it's such a trope.
I'm going to take out my gun.
Yeah.
And they're like, blam, blam. Oh, we saved you. Yeah.
Like all Saul needed to say, he could have just been like, no, man, the lock was broken. I don't know. It just popped open. Like, what are you talking about?
Or he could be like, I tried 0000.
Yeah.
That's usually what it starts with. Like that. Sometimes they don't change it. Yeah. It's just, they tried to add so much to make it clever and instead made it like weird and muddled. And if you take those things away, it's Escape from New York. It feels like that's what's happening here.
Yeah.
Is maybe they realized that they were making Escape from New York, so they're like, put more plot.
We got to glue a bunch of mustaches to this thing. We're going to get sued.
Yeah. And they did anyway. Because the data stuff is also very Escape from New York or Escape from LA. Because for people who don't know, Escape from LA, the president's daughter is not kidnapped. She goes with a revolutionary, Cuervo Jones. And yeah. And Snake Plissken has to bring her back. And then in Escape from New York, it's a prison. They're both kind of prisons.
They both are
and
prisons.
he has to save the president. And there's always like a data chip or like
it's
a cassette tape.
It's a cassette tape in the first one that has like clean energy, and the second one is like it's a weapon that sends an EMP that destroys all technology.
Snake Plissken is a villain.
He is the villain of those films.
I know where he's coming from.
I get it. We've talked about it.
Yeah, the first time with the clean energy, I'm a little like, Snake, no, you, okay. But the second one, I get it. Because after all that, he's like, you know what? Fuck it.
Yeah, fuck
Make
this.
everything like New York or LA.
Yeah.
But
I'm going to go live in Wyoming.
Yeah. Fucking Snake.
Very libertarian films.
Very libertarian.
Yeah, that is Kurt Russell and John Carpenter showing their entire asses.
Yeah.
Are those movies.
Fucking Christ. But there's just interesting layers to those movies with characters and shit like that. Like I would argue created
by the fact that the premise is so simple.
Yeah. They do stuff with the villain because the villain you could argue is the government, but then the main villain is you think Kurt Russell's going to kill him, but no. It's the president. The president.
Yeah, he gets shot by Donald Pleasance.
The king. Yeah, it's
fucking shoots Isaac Hayes.
Yeah, it's shit like that where it's like, yeah, this is just the stuff in this movie and Lockout. I've just seen a higher quality version, which doesn't mean this can't be enjoyed.
No, I mean, obviously, I get less and less out of it each time I watch it, but
yeah,
I do. I like Guy Pearce a lot, just in general. And he is Guy piercing it up in this movie.
All right.
So if that appeals to you.
Yeah. But man, it really, when he punches her to make her look more like the prisoners, it was like, movie, you didn't earn enough goodwill with me. Like, it's just, you're not making me like this character. Like, it's very hard to like this character. He, again, he's not clever enough. He's just, it's Guy Pearce. Excellent. He should be in more movies where he plays like a tough guy.
Mm-hmm.
But the writing of this, it was just like, I can't.
Yeah,
I just
this didn't do anyone any favors.
Yeah.
Least of all, everyone who got sued.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. It's whatever, man. I don't know. It's I would classify this as mediocre.
Oh yeah. No, I think it's like Metacritic is like right at like 50%.
Yeah. This is a solid like 40%.
Yeah.
40 to 50. That checks out. I can see. I think my dad told me about this movie. I think he watched it a while ago, and he was just like, "Yeah, it was a bad movie, but I enjoyed watching it." And it's like, yeah, that seems to be what the most good people say about this movie, which is like, yeah, it's not great, but it was fun. And it's like, all right, that's fair, you know? I don't know.
This is a bit, I'm reading about the legal action, and this is kind of, if you feel bad about Luc Besson, his involvement in this film, this will lessen that somewhat. I mean, even though
you mean like feel bad about the fact that he's involved?
Right, yeah. Like if you have an aversion to watching this movie because Luc Besson's involved, one, he's barely involved, but...
Okay.
So Carpenter sued in 2015. He got 20,000 euros. Nick Castle got 10,000 euros. Deborah Hill, I think, is the other credited screenwriter, but she's been dead for a while. That's why she didn't get any money. MGM got some euros, and then like Besson tried to appeal apparently, and after his appeal was rejected, the damages were increased to 450,000 euros.
So where he tried to appeal, and they're like, no. And you know what?
Now it's
give us more money.
Now it's 500,000. You piece of shit.
Wow. No. I'm glad that he got punished.
Yeah.
For this, because I assume again it's based on an original idea, is how they credit it.
Yeah.
And he is not a good person. So it's like I guess. I don't know. I was hoping he'd be involved enough to be punished for it.
I guess his money was involved because he's the one that.
It's It's nice to watch a movie. It's nice to watch a movie and think like someone should be punished, and learn that that's actually the case. Someone was punished.
Somebody was indeed punished for Lockout.
There's been many movies where I'm like, can someone go
Somebody
to jail
needs
for
to go
this?
to jail for this. Yeah.
Can someone pay a fine for how fucking derivative this thing is? And this is the first time they're like, you know what? Yeah. You have to.
Can we send those super fast guys to jail?
Yeah. It's like, you sir had such an unoriginal thought that we're gonna need some of your money.
Yeah, and the gall to give yourself the credit based on an original idea.
It's incredible.
You son of a bitch.
What was the original idea? Holy shit.
It's the original idea was just the plot summary of Escape from New York.
Yeah.
Badass gets sent into prison to rescue president's daughter.
Yeah. Oh my god, we haven't talked about the torsion.
What?
The torsion? That's what they call it. Or torsion? It's the giant weed grinder.
Oh.
That he has to fly across.
Yes.
What is that? Why was that there?
I don't know, man. It's a fucking set piece.
It's a set piece. It's a terrible set piece.
They all have them. I mean, it's like...
Yeah, but this one was really bad.
It's their version of John McClane falling down the elevator shaft.
Yes.
Or not the elevator shaft, the air duct shaft.
Right. The difference is that the air duct shaft, still while comically too large, at least felt like it could have existed.
Yeah.
This was just, my God. What is this? What is it, the air? Is it like pushing the air?
I guess so, yeah.
All right. Through like a weed grinder, through blades?
Sure.
And then it like pushes just enough. They're like, it should be enough for you to glide across. And it's like, do you know how much he weighs versus how much it's like pushing out?
How much force that thing is generated? I don't know, man.
That was, oh man, that was a real bummer. Because it was watching all this money on screen and being like, oh, for this.
Yeah, clearly they spent a lot of effects budget on that sequence.
Yeah. I got nothing else.
No, I think we're all set.
Okay, we're all set here.
We're all set.
I want to say I'm not mad at this movie, but I mean, no, I don't know. It's just
I'm not. Like I said, I've seen it a bunch. I tend to enjoy watching it. It's a fine action movie. It's just derivative to the point of being illegally so.
Yeah. I would say I would push back on it's a fine action movie because like
that's true.
Like the part where they parachute, like it's not very. They have these action pieces where it's like, oh, he has to get out of that thing and then pull her parachute or get her out, and then it happens so fast that I like barely saw it, like almost missed it. It would be like, man, you really got to stretch these moments out, but you're on a green screen and you don't have the budget.
Yeah, exactly. If they hold too long, it's going to start to look bad.
Yeah.
It looks worse the longer it's on screen.
Yeah, for sure. All right.
That's it. That's a sode.
That's it.
We
That's
fucking did it. That's a lockout, baby.
Thanks to Joshua Graves. Thank you very much for giving us a list of movies, and this is the one we picked.
It sure is.
This was done through our Patreon. If you're interested, you can go to www. Oh, should I do the HTTPs? You guys probably know that.
I think they know
Patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. You can find exclusive podcasts on there like Tom and Jeff Watch Batman and Fox Mulder is a Maniac for $5 a month. You get both of those a week.
Oh, yeah. We're about to launch into an epic couple of weeks on Tom and Jeff Watch Batman.
You sure fucking are.
Yeah, we are.
Gee, I wonder if anything relevant came out
came
Tom
out
and Jeff watching
today.
Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
as this is released.
Yeah. So fucking keep your goddamn ears peeled for that fucking bullshit that's about to drop.
Yeah.
Also, we watch movies with our patrons every Friday night. That's tomorrow.
Yeah.
Tomorrow night. Who knows what we'll watch?
I don't
Maybe
know.
we'll watch. We're probably not going to watch a 4-hour long movie.
Oh, no.
You're not going to want to watch that more than once.
No, and also I can't recommend watching it in a single sitting.
Yeah. I'm sure it takes a lot out of you.
Fatigue really sets in. Yeah, we also have a store, tpublic.com/store/gameplay unemployed, where you get t-shirts, masks, mugs, stickers, posters, all kinds of stuff. So please check that out if you would.
Yeah.
And leave us a review, you sons of bitches.
Oh, and I guess happy St. Patrick's Day?
No.
That was today?
No.
Okay.
That was
that's
yesterday.
fair.
The moment has passed.
Okay.
It was yesterday.
Wait, no, but that's when we're recording.
When we're recording, yes.
But when they're all going to be like hungover.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Yeah. We could make a bunch of loud noises right at the end if you guys want.
Yeah, people love loud noises in podcasts.
Let me grind some metal across some gravel.
Yeah, we should introduce our new podcast series. It's going to be called Pet Startler.
Yeah.
Where we startle pets.
Yep. Dolphin slaughter. It's just the sounds of dolphins being chopped to pieces. Just screaming into the ocean.
Go to sleep to some dolphin slaughter.
Never accepting it.
No. Why would they?
Well, why would? Yeah, no. It's just not going to happen until it suddenly does.